Third thing that we want to go over for making a software development project successful is a good QA person or team based on the size of project.
Right, right, and a QA team will verify that what's in the user requirements is actually what was developed and coded by a developer and sent off into maybe a QA server or things like that. Sometimes as a developer we will read user stories and you touched on it. Our expectation or our interpretation of what a requirement is may not sometimes be exactly what it is, and it's the QA team that comes back and they verify, and they will come back and say, hey, I don't know if you read this, but you may have missed this one small detail of the user story and things like that.
And if a QA person is coming to you once in a blue moon, they don't know how to test a certain story. But if they're coming to you and you're basically the QA, you're just telling them like what to test, and you're just telling them the things that will make your thing pass. That's probably a good sign that you have a bad QA.
Right.
They should be able to, know what they don't have to come to the developer constantly for stuff.
Right. Well, most QA people they take the requirements just like we do, and they understand them. And while we're writing the code, they're writing out their test cases. QA guys are gonna and gals are gonna sit there and they're gonna write down, okay, to test this specific requirement, what do we need to do? What QA steps do we need? And they have their own checklist. And when we check in our code and it gets deployed to a QA server and it's ready for testing, the ticket's marked for QA, then they have their checklist of items that they need to go through and that's a sign of a good QA person or a good QA team or a good QA process is to document all of these items.
And also if you get annoyed by them, it's a good sign because they're finding bugs in your code.
Early on, probably about three jobs ago, I had a QA person. They were decent. Yeah. And then they hired this other woman, and she could find a bug in everything. And after a while I was like, God dog it, I kept getting stuff sent back, and and at first I was frustrated, but then I realized, hey, she's really good. And then when we moved on to when we were at the same company together, when we first started working together, we had a really good QA person too. She always found something. No, regardless of how good or you thought and how sound your code is, how sound your code was. She found something.
She'll humble you.
Yeah. So those are the marks of a.
But in the end, you better catch them there. Or it's better to catch it there than in production.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then your clients or who you're serving the software have nothing to. You'll still have bugs, but if you can limit the number of those.
Yeah, sound QA team. It's a definite must to having a good successful project. So,
right.